Hello, goodbye, and hello again. Welcome back to Drifter Carbon and another Minecraft texture pack review. Today we're taking a look at Minimalist Craft by Heropixel Games. It is 490 Minecraft coins or less if you have the Marketplace Pass right now. And it's 5.7 megabytes. Here's the description. Make note of the fact that it has like animated ores and variations, which is always nice. And then we will scroll down here and look at the skins. And, you know, even though these are simple and they're not really necessarily something that I myself would wear, I could definitely see people enjoying these. These are definitely usable skins. All right, let's jump on in. Here we are in the texture pack review world. Let's go ahead and set up a firework real quick. There you go. That's what that looks like. Nothing special with throwing snowballs. That's what the wind charge has kind of a different vibe to it. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and look at things that grow. Definitely going for a minimalist style with this one, huh? But I do like the fact that even though the grass blocks are very simple, there is variation, so it's a little less monotonous. Not sure how I don't particularly like the way they've done the leaves on this particular tree because you can see through them so easily, but there's actually different like styles on all of the different leaves. So that's good. Here's your mushrooms. There's the various crops. That's the pitcher plant, kind of a different looking pitcher plant there. Some very simple flowers, but this is the minimalist pack, and it's difficult to blame blame something for being what it is. So here's the composter in various stages of compost. And this pack has been updated for 1.21. Oh, we got some animation here. There you go. There are some blocks that are animated. They put in a little extra effort in this pack. Kind of makes up for some of the more minimalist, more minimal designs and stuff. Here's mushrooms. Here's the different logs. That kind of reminds me of the note block. But yeah, I mean, at least like I've reviewed several of these minimal packs before, and this one at least seems to be putting in the effort of doing different designs for different things of the same type. Like even the planks all look different from each other. So that right off the bat, this one's doing better than a lot of the you know, low pixel packs I've looked at. Doesn't seem to be variations on the planks, but again, each of the planks are different, so that doesn't matter as much. Dirt, sand, gravel, and moss. Here's sand and gravel, and suspicious sand and suspicious gravel. Yeah, you can tell the difference on the suspicious sand. The suspicious gravel doesn't look very different from the regular gravel, though. There's sandstone. Here's stone and stuff. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of a readability issue that it's kind of difficult to tell what a lot of these things are if you're not having. Okay, we do have some variations on some of these blocks too, which is nice. But like, you know, you might struggle to tell me what each of these blocks is supposed to be. Polished stone, cobblestones. Here's bricks. We have variations on the bricks. Doesn't look like it. Stone, bricks, blocks, etc. I mean, if you're trying to build in this style, then I feel like this pack has some usable building blocks. Glass. They're all the same pattern, but should be pretty easy to see through the clear glass. Here's wool. We have another pack where the wool all have different designs from each other. So it may not have taken them terribly long to do any one of these textures, but at least there's lots of textures. Concrete powder, concrete, pretty basic concrete. Here's terracotta, glazed terracotta. So some of these are recognizable as their traditional vanilla designs, and some of them are more original. Ore, okay, we do have animated ore. That was one of the things they advertised. So that's very nice. Kind of simplistic animation, but at least it's there and it's different, and you can tell where the ore is against the regular stone. Nether ore, deep slate ore. You know, very similar to the regular ore. Here's the amethyst. Oh, we have a little minor animation on these too. There's just like a sparkle. Random lonely magma block. Seeing quite a bit of animation. And they're all simple animations, but, you know, at least there's animation. Sponges. You can tell between the difference between the wet and the dry. Some very simple light sources. Here's the bulbs. So not all of the textures in this pack are just like a square with some squares, you know. Like I've encountered several packs where here's miscellaneous light sources. I've reviewed several packs where it's just like a bunch of squares with squares in it and no real designs put into it. But this one, at least they're doing some things differently. Here's the signs. Those are pretty usable signs. The background design doesn't get in the way of the text. Readability. Monster spawner. Here's fences and gates. Yeah, no problems with those. There's the walls in the background. Dried kelp block. Very, almost looks like a present. Like you could stick a button on top of this and have it look like a bow on a present. Diamond, lapis, gold, emerald, and redstone blocks. Another block type with the animation there. Nice to see. Iron block. Raw copper, gold, and iron. Here's a lodestone. Prismarine. Slime block. Honey. Hay bale, bone block. Here's quartz. The bone block and the quartz look very similar to each other. But you know, the quartz look all right. Here's copper. The ladder. Here's the doors. They do have different designs for doors, and a lot of them do have windows, which I always prefer. Yeah, for the minimalist style, I think they did a good job on designing the doors. Trapdoors. Here's bookcases. Go ahead and open this up. Oh, they've got like a totally different looking pages on the book here. That's interesting. That's probably the most different that the pages have been in the book. Usually it's just the frame that's different. Here's the enchanting table. Oh, let's look at the UI as well while I'm thinking about it. Simple but effective item bar down here. That's what the map looks like, by the way. No tattered paper on it because it's minimalist. And let's look at the menu here. So they at least picked a nice, you know, like sky blue color for the menus. Is there more than one bookcase? It doesn't look like it. That's usually, this pack has variations, so you would think the bookcases would be different. Here's beds. They do have different patterns on the beds. Once again, I will give them credit for that. They're not skimping on the number of textures. Crafting table and villager job table. Some amount of you know, design effort was put into this pack. I think the crafting tables look okay. You know, it's not too much effort to discern which one is what. Like that's the fletching table. That's the cartography table because it's got a map on top of it. That's the smithing table. So yeah, that's fine. Furnaces. Here's an anvil. You can tell how damaged the anvil is. Cauldrons. There's lava and there's a potion. They have a little animation. Chests. You can definitely tell which one's trapped. Barrel, jukebox, note block. That's what the little note looks like. The empty armor stand's kind of cute in this pack. It's like a straw dummy with a target on it. The beacon, the bell. Here's what the beacon beam looks like. There's the iron bars. Let's look at the paintings. Zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, you know, it's kind of different. Some of these are a little abstract, but I think that the pixel art is fine. I don't have a problem with any of this. Some of this is actually pretty fun. Like this looks like something I would stick on a wall in Minecraft. Dennis is too new, but the rest of these are custom. Yeah, some neat designs in here. Item frames. Here's rails. Oh, I see something strange. But the custom rails. They look different enough from each other because this one has like the powered rail has, you know, yellow on the sides, but I would have liked to have seen more differences between these two rails. Here's things in minecarts. This is what the minecarts look like in this pack. They're unicorns and they blink. They are alive unicorns that you ride around on. They've even got tails. I've never seen a minecart with a tail before. That's definitely a first. I gotta say, I was not expecting like living unicorn motorcycles to be the minecarts. That's definitely my favorite thing in this pack so far. Redstone stuff. Is that animated? No, I'm seeing things. Here's the pottery. You know, they went for a minimalist design, but you can still tell what these are supposed to be. They're similar to the default designs. They've just stripped them down to their core elements. Here's the scaffolding. The banner has a little bit of a pattern to it. The boats. Do you guys think I should add more banners with like patterns attached to it? Because I don't know if they ever changed those. Here's Tough. Tough looks fine. Trial spawner. Here's the vault. Okay, it's like it darkens when you get close to it. Usually when they go for this light pattern thing instead of a moving skull, they'll have it light up when you get close to it, but it's kind of the opposite. It's like the light turns off when you get close. Here's the resin. The target block. Here's mob heads. Okay, we'll look at the mobs later. I'm looking forward to seeing the dragon in action. That's the dragon egg. Dripstone. Pretty basic dripstone. Here's the lightning rod, the chain, heavy core, conduit. Those are all basic. And TNT. TNT looks okay for this style. There's the sea pickles, the seagrass, and the kelp. Here is the coral, the dead coral and the live coral. All pretty basic. I mean, it's the minimalist pack. What do you want from them, right? We do have more than one lily pad as well. Another block with variations. Very nice. Cool. Well, I was not expecting to like the blocks in this pack as much as I ended up liking them. Just because there's a nice variety and I think they've done a good job of cramming a decent amount of variety into a limited number of pixels. So let's go check out the armor. Alrighty. By the way, here's what the sky looks like. The sun actually has a little ring around the inside of it, so it's not just one color, but you know, basic clouds there. Not much of a skybox during the day, at least. We'll see what the night looks like later, but let's look at armor. These are the different armors, and they are custom. So this is another aspect that the pack certainly did not skimp on. Only one. No, I take it back. There's like two versions of the sword, because the diamond sword looks different from the rest of them. They could have done more to make the swords different from each other, I guess. But I guess there are little differences in like the pommels and stuff. Not pommel, but the guard. But I do like the way that the armor looks. I think they did a good job of having some fun, a fun level of detail, despite the minimalist aesthetic. But you know, I wouldn't even necessarily call this minimalist. There's a lot going on with some of these things. There's the elytra, and that's kind of an interesting looking shield. What's going on with that? Almost looks like a padlock. You know, it's just a fancy shield, but it's got like custom geometry and stuff. So that's another thing that they. The trident also looks cool. That's interesting. So yeah, they've redone the geometry on the tools and stuff. That's the mace there. Let's look at armor trims and the different tools. So there are different armor trims here that are unique to the specific kinds of armor. These are amethyst armor trims on iron armor, but like they don't really look like amethyst. But you know, at least there's differences here between them. Some of these like have like see-through helmets and stuff, so that's interesting. They made some unusual choices there with their armor trims. Here is it almost looks like you can yeah, you can see there's like transparent parts of the armor with certain trims, like it's battle damaged or something. There's the end rod. It's striped today. That may be the first striped end rod we've seen. I'm not overly impressed by the look of the weapons and tools, but they're going for as minimal of a style as possible, so I think they accomplished that. Here's the respawn compass and the regular compass and the clock. That's what the horn looks like. That's horse armor. These are the potions. They do have different potions. Here's food. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's somewhat easy to identify most of these things so far. You might have to squint at it and think about it for a second, but you can figure out what some of this stuff is. At least some of these things may be a little more difficult, but I mean, when you're in the inventory and stuff, you've got a little text box that pops up anyway. So here's music discs. That's definitely a minimalist representation of a music disc. Here's things in buckets, minerals. So there is a little bit of a readability issue with the items, that a lot of this stuff is like, okay, what is half of these things? You know, I couldn't tell you what most of this stuff is. Every now and then there's an item that's identifiable, but there is some usability difficulty with this pack. And there's some of the newer stuff. So yeah, I think they certainly could have done a worse job with the items, but it's definitely not the strong suit of the pack. Let's go check out the mobs. Here's what a couch or a bench looks like. That's a water cooler. Here's the Nether portal. It's kind of got like popping bubbles, kind of a simplistic animation going for it. Very like see-through and pastel sort of portal there. Let's look at mobs. This is one of the selling points of the pack, is that there's variations on the mobs. Like these are both the default chicken, but they've got different patterns there. And it does have the warm and cold chicken. Just minimalist versions of those. Here's the bee. And the cow. We have more than one color of cow. Nice, nice. Here's the pig. What's going on with this pig? Is it growing leaves? It has like flowers growing out of it. That's interesting. There's the pig. The sheep. Here's the dog. Yes, there is no, I guess that's just, it looks different because it's got the armor on. But otherwise there seems to be no difference between these dogs, but these are all the same color of dog in vanilla Minecraft. Polar bear, very simple polar bear there. Here's the ocelot. Not overly fond of just sort of this style, but they've got more detail on these mobs than a lot of packs do that are going for this minimalist style. Or simple style, as it's sometimes called. There's the mushroom. Here's the bat. And the parrots. There you go. And the rabbits. The llamas. Looks like, what's going on with this green llama there? Is that supposed to look like that? That may be broken. I'm not sure what's going on with that llama. They've got these like wide-eyed expressions and stuff, and no, I guess all the llamas look like that actually, except that one has something over its eye. I don't know. The llamas are kind of weird. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be drool coming out of their mouths or like a beard. Here's the horses. Interesting. They've got some like extra little details and stuff. They changed the geometry of the horses. And here's the horses and horse armor. The donkey and the mule. There's the skeleton horse and the zombie horse. Yeah, it's like all of the horse type mobs have little beards. Here's the tropical fish. And the cod. What the cod looks like. Here's the puffer fish. Puff up, puffer fish. Come on, show me your face. They don't have a mouth in this pack. Here's the salmon or salamone. That's what they look like. Dolphin. Oh, dolphin just did a jump. There you go. Very minimalist dolphin. And the sea turtle. But these guys all look better than a lot of the minimalist ones. So, pandas. We've got more than one panda in here. There we go. That's the one that looks different. The fox. Not seeing a lot of mobs that have variations. Here's the creeper. I'm not sure what's going on with the creeper. It's like he's encased in ice, or like these are not charged creepers. So, you know, if the charged creepers had this aura around them, that would make more sense than the regular creepers. See if we can find an enderman, if I'm going to have to spawn one in. There's one. They've got stripe. They've got a stripe down the center. Interesting. The silverfish. It's got a tail. Almost looks not quite mouse-like. That's definitely still supposed to be a silverfish. There's the skeleton. And the wither skeleton. Wither skeleton has some, like, stuff sticking out of him. Here's the stray. Almost looks like the wither skeleton's on fire or something. The slime. Here's the spider and cave spider. So a lot of the mobs do have, like, their geometry is different. Here's the zombie. This one's definitely different geometry. Kind of a fun zombie. It's like almost like they've got bolts in their. I started to say necks, but that's really more like their ears. There's the bogged. He looks dramatically different from usual. The husk. Just kind of looks like a guy. Here's the drown. That's what the drown looks like. Here's the squid and glow squid. They've got, they're kind of looking off to the side there. Here's the witch. And the guardian and elder guardian. Looking for, here's an endermite. That's what the magma cube looks like. Looks default to me. The strider. They're smiling even when they're not in the lava. What happens when they go in the lava? They don't really change. They just get red. The zoglin, zombified hoglin. Definitely looks zombified. Zombie piglin. So, you know, the zombie mobs are not, they're a little graphic, but since it's so minimalist, it's not, you know, too gory or anything. The goat looks very different from usual. It's a brown goat in this pack. Axolotls. Yeah, they've got like wide open mouths. What's up with that? Or that one's just got a line for a mouth. I guess they all have lines for mouths, but it's like they've got lips or something on the fronts of their faces. The allay has ears. Pretty sure that's a first. There's the frog. Sometimes I feel like simple packs are just an excuse for somebody to crank out a texture pack without much effort, but I think that they've put more thought into their designs in this pack than I was expecting. I definitely wasn't expecting much from this pack, but here's the camel and the blaze. Face over this way, blaze. Very simple face on the blaze. Here's the ghast. Kind of fun. The ghast has like, it's almost like he's wearing pants. He's got like different colored legs than the rest of it. This pack was updated before the Chase the Skies update was released. There's the shulker. Here's the vindicator and evoker. See if I can actually get them to face me. That's what they look like. Here are the villagers. How many villager faces do we have? We actually have some variety here, because there's ones with facial hair and there's ones with different skin tones. A lot of just like repeats of the same villager though. Here's the zombie villagers, the phantom. That's what the pillager looks like. Here's the ravager. Kind of fun. Looks almost like he's got little castles or chess piece on his shoulders there. Here's the iron golem. Oh, we have an interesting iron golem here. It's like it's coal powered or steam powered or something. It's got like smoke coming out of its back. And you can tell how damaged the iron golem is. I think so, at least. Like I'm assuming the red ones are the damaged one, and the other one is not. Little difficult to. That's what I'm gonna assume. Here's the snow golem and snow golem with its pumpkin carved off. Very simple. Here's the sniffer. Sniffer has different geometry. Big, thick, wider legs on it, but it's kind of cute. Here's the armadillo. And the warden. That's kind of a goofy looking warden. Oh, it's got like a 3D heart in its chest. That's interesting. I'm not sure if we've seen somebody bother to have that much level of detail on that aspect of the warden. Here's the breeze. And the wither. Oh, the wither looks totally different in this pack. Instead of a three-headed guy, it's sort of a demon-looking guy with a head that seems independent to move independently of its body. It just kind of rotates around. That's kind of funny. That's interesting. That's the most different wither I've seen in a while. And here's the creaking. So yeah, as you can see, it was updated recently enough for the Pale Garden stuff to be here. So I think by and large they did a pretty good job with the mobs. They definitely put in more effort than I was expecting them to. Let's go check out the Nether. I did also want to show that they do have custom designs for each of the mob eggs. They're simple, but they're easy to identify which mob is which. So those work quite well. Here's the Nether. You can see what some of the blocks in the Nether look like. Here's the Hoglin. And over here is, hold on, trying to fly. That's what the respawn anchor looks like. Here's the piglins. Let's see if there's more than one piglin. There is. So there's some differences between the piglins there. See if we can get him to face over this way so we can see his outfit better. There you go. So there's differences between the different kinds of piglin. Fly out this way. That's what the ghast looks like when he's not in a cage. Flying out to another biome so we can look at that real quick. And here's what this biome looks like. So yeah, I mean, you know, the Nether doesn't look too bad in this pack. Let's go check out the Stronghold below. Oh, first let's go look at the warm. I mean the warm mobs. Okay, here's what the warm mobs look like. Also, here's what a desert village looks like. I don't always show that off. But yeah, and we got another mob with variations here. The warm cow also has, some of them have spots, some of them don't. Here we are in the Stronghold below template world. That's what the cold pig looks like, and the cold cow. The temperature variants don't look dramatically different from each other. I guess the cold cow does have like fur. There's some little subtle differences. Here's what the night sky looks like. Nothing terribly exciting there. That's what the moon looks like. Fly around here, look at, that's a villager house. Fly out this way. Try and find the house with the cobweb. There you go. Very simple cobweb. And this is what a ruined portal looks like. Kind of a big difference between the weeping obsidian and the regular obsidian there. Fly back towards the stronghold. That's what the frozen water and the ice look like. So we will jump on down. Here we are in the Stronghold. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's doable. It's usable. Kind of, you got your mossy blocks there. They're easy enough to tell that they're supposed to be mossy. Oh, let's throw a bottle of enchanting. Start to call it potion of enchanting. That's not quite right. Drink a potion of strength. It's got like bubbles instead of swirlies. Nothing crazy with the goat horn. Here's what the crossbow looks like when you reload it. That's what a sword looks like in your hand. I think that the swords look fine in your hand. Here's an Eye of Ender, so we can activate the portal. Oh, that's kind of a different and interesting looking end portal there. That's fun. And here we are in the end. Oh, very different looking end void here. It's got like little shapes and stuff in it. That's interesting. I'm not sure if that's going to come across on your screen as vividly as it is on mine, but looks cool to me. It's like the Endermen have like spiky hair, but it's like sideways spikes. That's a little strange, but it's certainly different. We have a very different end crystal too. So there's quite a few things in this pack that they've done something wildly different. And here's the Ender Dragon. It's cute. This was probably the most effort that they put into any of the mobs. I do definitely like the way that the Ender Dragon looks in this pack. One of the cuter Ender Dragons that we've seen. Let it fly around here and we'll see if we can get another look at it. So that's what that looks like. Cool. So what are my final thoughts on this pack? I think that they've done a really good job of capturing what they're going for. There were a couple of little problems, but for the most part, I think this is definitely the best minimalist or simple pack that I've reviewed, especially for the price point. You know, it had variations and animations on some of the blocks, and I think that they made a good use of the minimal amount of pixels. And there were some crazy things that I was not expecting, like, you know, animated unicorn minecarts. What's up with that? You know, I'm not complaining. Certainly, that earns it a little bit of extra credit there. Just to have something I wasn't expecting and that was interesting. As far as the items go, I thought that the armor was pretty nice. And the armor trims change up the way that the armor looks. Like, it changes the geometry on the armor in subtle ways by having like holes in the armor where you can see bits of your face or body through it, which is kind of a different way of doing that. So as far as the items go, the items are definitely one of the downsides of the pack because it's really difficult to identify some of the items. I know it's a challenge to convey what something is supposed to be in that few pixels and that little detail, but I would have liked to have seen them do a better job of that one aspect. That's really my biggest complaint with the whole pack is you might struggle to find stuff in your inventory or in your chests or whatever. And as far as the mobs go, some of them did have, a lot of them had custom geometry. It wasn't wildly different from normal sometimes, but I thought that they had fun designs on the mobs, and more effort was put into the mobs in this pack than I was expecting from something like this. And the UI is simple but effective. You know, it's cute enough, and I like the color of blue that they've chosen for the menu there. The shield was also kind of cool and different. So I think overall this is like a 4 out of 5 pack, I would say. You know, the readability issue of the items I think does hold it back from being a very strong recommendation. But if you like the minimalist style, I think this is definitely the best one that we've seen. If you have the marketplace pass, I do encourage you to go ahead and try it out for yourself. If you're watching this when it came out, and yeah, because really, like, if you like what you see, then it's not that expensive. It's like less than $2 if you have the pass to own it permanently. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below what you think of the pack. You know, what was your favorite part of the pack? And thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Drifter Carbon was filmed in front of an undead studio audience.